Imagine this. You're walking down a city street, minding your business, when suddenly you're stopped by a police officer. Not because you did anything wrong, but because of what you look like. Now picture that same officer getting the shock of his life when he realizes you're not just anyone, you're his boss. Sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? Well, today's story is all too real, and it's one you won't want to miss. It all began on a sunny afternoon in downtown Chicago. The city was alive, bustling with energy as people hurried about their day. Marcus James, a tall, charismatic black man in his mid-40s, was new in town. But Marcus wasn't just anyone. He was the newly appointed captain of the Chicago Police Department. After years of hard work, countless sacrifices, and an unwavering commitment to justice, Marcus had climbed the ranks to become a respected leader in law enforcement. But Marcus wasn't in uniform that day. Dressed in a simple hoodie and jeans, he was exploring the city he now called home. He wanted to experience it as an ordinary citizen before stepping into his high-profile role. Little did he know, this decision would lead to an encounter he would never forget. At the same time, Officer Tom Brady, yes, like the quarterback but with none of the charm, was patrolling the area. Tom was in his 50s, a veteran on the force with a less than stellar reputation. Known for his short temper and biased attitudes, Tom had a way of making situations worse instead of better. And today he was about to do just that. Marcus was standing outside a coffee shop, checking his phone, when Tom spotted him. To Tom, Marcus didn't look like a captain. He didn't even look like someone who belonged in that neighborhood. Suspicion and prejudice clouded Tom's judgment, and he decided to act. "Hey, you!" Tom called out, approaching Marcus with his hand resting on his holster. "What are you doing here?" Marcus looked up, confused but calm. "Excuse me?" "I asked what you're doing here," Tom said, his tone sharp. "This isn't a hangout spot." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Is there a problem, officer?" Tom's eyes narrowed. "Yeah, the problem is people like you standing around making others uncomfortable. Let me see some ID." Marcus sighed. He had dealt with officers like Tom before, men who saw his skin color as a threat and nothing more. But today he decided to play along. He reached into his pocket and handed over his ID. Tom snatched it and glanced at the name. It didn't ring any bells, but that didn't stop him from escalating the situation. "What's this? Fake ID? You trying to play me?" Marcus remained composed. "It's not fake. That's my name, and I'm new to the area." "Yeah, right," Tom scoffed. "Turn around and put your hands behind your back." "What?" Marcus exclaimed, his patience wearing thin. "On what grounds?" "On the grounds that I don't like your attitude," Tom snapped, grabbing Marcus's arm. At that moment, a small crowd began to gather, their murmurs growing louder. Some took out their phones, recording the scene as Marcus tried to de-escalate, but Tom wasn't listening. "Officer, I think you're making a mistake," Marcus said firmly, but Tom was already reaching for his cuffs. Just then, another officer arrived on the scene. It was Officer Rachel Carter, a young, sharp-minded cop who recognized Marcus immediately from the department's welcome email. Her eyes widened as she took in the situation. "Tom, what are you doing?" Rachel asked, rushing over. "Doing my job," Tom replied gruffly. "This guy's suspicious." "Suspicious?" Rachel repeated, incredulous. "Do you know who that is?" Tom frowned. "Yeah, some guy who thinks he's above the law." Rachel shook her head and stepped between them. "That's Marcus James. Captain Marcus James. Your new boss." The color drained from Tom's face. "Wait, what?" Marcus folded his arms, watching as realization dawned on the older officer. "Surprise," he said dryly. Tom stammered, trying to backtrack. I didn't know. I mean, you weren't in uniform." Marcus held up a hand. "Save it. Let's take this conversation somewhere private." The crowd watched as Marcus and Rachel escorted Tom into the coffee shop. The videos went viral within hours, sparking a heated debate online about bias and accountability in law enforcement. Inside the cafe, Marcus sat across from Tom, his expression unreadable. "Officer Brady," he began, "do you know why I became a cop?" Tom shook his head, too ashamed to speak. "I became a cop because I believe in justice," Marcus continued. "I believe in protecting people, not judging them based on how they look. What you did out there wasn't about safety. It was about prejudice." Tom looked down at his hands, his bravado completely gone. "But I also believe people can change," Marcus said. "So here's what's going to happen. You're going to undergo bias training. You're going to reflect on why you joined this profession in the first place. And if I don't see improvement, you'll be finding another line of work. Do I make myself clear?" "Yes, sir," Tom mumbled. The incident became a turning point for the department. Under Marcus's leadership, new policies were implemented to address bias and improve community relations. Tom, to his credit, took the training seriously and worked to rebuild trust with his colleagues and the community. As for Marcus, he continued to lead with integrity, proving that true strength lies in patience, understanding, and the courage to confront injustice head-on. What would you have done in Marcus's shoes? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more inspiring tales. Because at the end of the day, it's stories like these that remind us change is possible, but it starts with us.